Hello, hello. Hump day. Happy hump day. How y'all doing on this Wednesday? Told you I would be live at 5. That's live at 5 Central Time. I am here and I'm so happy to be able to talk with you all today. I give you all a minute to come through. I'm on Instagram as well as Facebook and YouTube. Let me straighten this up real quick. Okay, here we go. Here we go. That's good. All right. How was your day today? Are you having a good week? Are you making it a good week? Are you making a good week? What's going well with you? Definitely feel free to share in the comments what's going well with you today, this week. What has happened today that you have learned or happened this week that you have learned that has inspired you to move forward? It's always important to find those things, to look forward to those things. And I would like to apologize ahead of time. It appears there's some type of party going on the outside of my door. But hopefully you won't really hear it. But but I just want to apologize ahead of time. And for everyone who does not know me, I am Tiffany Newton. I am a Master Certified Health and Life Coach, and I have been in the mental health space for the past couple years. And God has kind of moved me into the co-parenting space as well. I still deal in mental health, and I think that's probably why um, the way I present this co-parenting piece has a lot to do with it, because I believe there should be a holistic approach to everything that we do in life, because that's who we are. We are whole people. We're spirit, soul, and body. We're not just one part. Um, so this has been a really good time. This is day 11 of my life challenge on my journey to co-parenting. And this week we've been talking about communication, and it's been really good. I'm not going to go into everything that we've talked about, but I encourage you to, go back at the lives and check them out. I mean, it's been some really good information, especially, you know, this week on communication, because communication is a huge issue in any relationship, but especially in marriages and romantic relationships. And I, in my research, when I was looking up communication and how it impacts us as in relationships, I found that 68% of marriages, they end in divorce due to communication being, the main issue. So just imagine, all of those couples, a lot of them have kids, you know, and if they had communication issues in their marriage, it's not going to just automatically change post divorce, So, that's why I'm here. So we're talking about cracking the code to co-parenting communication, and this is part 3, because we're talking about communication. And we mentioned how the vault is what? Do you remember? That's right. It is the child first method. And CHILD is an acronym. It is communication, which involves partnership and collaboration. It's honoring the other parent's role. It's involvement with the child, letting go of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and determining in everything to think about the child and what's the best for them together. And as we know, the child first method, it includes, or really say, it encompasses focusing on the child and also effective communication, collaboration, and prioritizing the child first and their well-being. So we've been working on effective communication, that definition during this week, and I want to give that to you again. I think it's good to repeat certain things just to bring it back to our remembrance as we begin our discussion. So the effective communication is a process of exchanging thoughts, ideas, opinions, knowledge, and data so that the message is received and understood with clarity and purpose. So when we communicate effectively, excuse me, both parties or both parents feel satisfied. So, and as we have learned with communication being our number one combination to our vault, and we're talking about open and respectful communication, it's the cornerstone of our vault. And we have to communicate openly about our child's needs, their schedules, and important decisions. And effective communication, it helps us to build trust. It reduces misunderstandings and promotes a cooperative co-parenting relationship. And that is what we're aiming for. We're aiming for healthy. We're aiming for a healthy co-parenting relationships. We already know what the other side looks like. So I'm presenting to you a new way of co-parenting. So, most people they they don't begin in a healthy co-parenting relationship. And there's a lot of things that we can do to address with each other, within ourselves after the divorce or the breakup. We just imagine, you being in a marriage, no matter how long that marriage was, but you had children together. At one point in time, you loved each other, um, you admired each other, you, depending on what age your children were when you divorced, you had children. You watched them be born, you parented together. And just imagine one day it just all ends. You're no longer in the same house. And all of a sudden, the relationship doesn't look like the way it used to. And more than likely, there was a communication breakdown. So the child first method, it really focuses on building that back up to where it was post divorce, or I should say really even, I would say pre-marriage. Because most time those are the best days is before we even get married, which is sad to say. But most of us who are divorced, that's I'm not gonna say that. Okay. Anyway, moving along. But we are working on just getting communication back to where it needs to be at this point, getting a new way of communicating because the relationship is different. So, and this can be hard. And normally this is where conflict really occurs, because we're dealing with, all these unmet expectations. We're dealing with, all these things that they probably should have done. Hey, Eric, thank you for joining. You taking notes? Awesome. Good, good. It and then um with conflict, it can fester. It really can. Um, and it builds upon the other. So like for example, um, when we when there's something that the other parent does that we don't like, we might talk about it to our girlfriend, our parent, or whomever. But we don't, we'll voice those frustrations to other people, but we won't say anything, to the co-parent. And then they do something else. We might not say nothing. And then it's like that last time when we hit our limit, some folks hit their limit before others. I say, I'm one of them folks, I don't really hit my limit right away. But some of us, we do. And that's when the show enough conflict comes in it, because we are blowing off the handle. We are having some show enough issues. And so we have to really address how we're dealing with conflict and co-parenting. And I want to talk real quickly about 6 different things that I want to point out on how we can better handle conflict at this time. And of course, there's others. If you think of anything, please feel free to put them in the comments. I love to read them, and we could definitely add it to our list. Okay. All right. So the very first one I want to talk about is choosing the right time and place for conflict. A lot of times when things come up, we are heated. Our emotions are charged. So it's very important, if we need to, especially if we hadn't got to healthy yet and we're working on, this co-parenting relationship, we have to say, one of us have to say this, who's going to be the mature one to say this? And since you're listening, you probably the mature one. So I will tell you, select an appropriate place, a private space to discuss conflicts, and let the parent know, hey, this is not the best time for us to talk about this. Can we please table this? Let's talk about this. Can we talk about this tomorrow? But I do want to talk about this, and set a time, set a day and time. Because if you just say, hey, I'm going to table this, you might not ever talk about it. But you need to set a day and time and say, hey, we need to talk about this. And in that way, that'll give you opportunities to, to kind of get your emotions intact, let them get their emotions together, get your thoughts together. And then that way you can come back together and have more of an open discussion, about it. And I also want to encourage you to avoid, difficult conversations in front of the children. We're trying to raise healthy, emotionally healthy children. So it's important for us not to have, these difficult conversations in front of them, because when I was growing up, it was just grown folks conversations, and it was not grown folks conversations. So, and we talk about grown folks conversations. And so the children don't need to be around. Okay. Now, the second one, we're always going to talk about focusing on a child and what's best interest of the child. So we always have to prioritize the child's needs always when we're dealing with conflict resolution. So when we're sitting down, we're calm, we are respectful. Remember, we talked about having that business partnership last week. We're presenting this as a business, because we're handling the business of our child. So when we're dealing with conflict, this is business. This is not about our emotions. We handling business because we both want the best for our child. The next one I'll say is avoiding blame and accusations. We have to refrain from blaming the other parent when we have conflict with them. We have to focus on finding solutions, find solutions rather than assigning fault. And it's so important for us to use I statements when you're having discussions in regards to conflict, such as instead of saying, you always, why you gotta, mm-mm. Try, I am worried when, I am concerned when. And then that way, that will give that person an opportunity to address how you are feeling. And then in turn, you can address how they are feeling. Now, remember, I told you before, these things are things that should be done, that should have been done pre, before we got divorced. These are things that should be done in any romantic relationship. But this is not even a romantic relationship anymore. But still, we have to establish these skills because we still have to work with our children's father or our children's mother. So it's just certain things that we still have to do even right now. If you're feeling this, if you're understanding what I'm saying, put some butterflies in the comments. I like butterflies. And if you're enjoying what I'm saying, share it out. Um, because this is definitely, I feel like conflict resolution is definitely something that we all have to constantly work on because it's not something we necessarily arrive at because everybody's just so different, especially when it comes to our kids, and everybody is um, invested. Hey, Trevay, thank you for joining. Thank you for the butterflies. I love butterflies. All right, the next one, we're coming to a close. We're halfway through. We have to focus on long-term co-parenting goals. Now, we will discuss, about partnership later on in this challenge, but I also want to talk about the parenting plan during that time as well. So just be thinking about that in the back of your head that we're gonna talk about a parenting plan as it relates to our long-term co-parenting goals. But as we focus on those goals, remember this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Our I've heard people say that once their children are 18, that's it. Or once they get out the house, that's it. I hadn't found that to be true. I'm grown and I still need my parents. So God forbid if they ever parted, I would still need both of my parents. So guess what? Your child needs both of you, even as adults. So this is a marathon. This is a journey. This is something that you're constantly going to be um, working at and towards for the betterment of your child. So you want to keep long-term co-parenting goals in mind, and work toward fostering, positive and collaborative um, relationships as relates to your co-parent. Okay, we got two more. We're on number 5. You ready? How about this? Let's put agreements in writing. Sometimes people got to be reminded, and it's good to have something in writing for people. I think sometimes, just like the Bible say, write down the vision and make it plain. So I think, especially when we're writing something down in this meeting that we have to discuss our conflict resolution, and remember, this can be outside of our scheduled meetings that we have with each other. And I believe when we write things down, it holds us accountable to one another. And it also puts both of us in a mind frame of, okay, this is something that we're really serious about. Really being intentional about this, and we're being intentional about the well-being of our child. So consider that, putting your agreements in writing. Now, the last one, this is a good one because it's hard when you deal with conflict because it doesn't always feel good to address conflict, and then you don't know how it's gonna turn out. You don't know if the person's gonna make any changes or anything. But you have to acknowledge the small wins. Acknowledge the small wins. You have to celebrate the small victories and the positive outcomes that come from conflict resolution. Celebrate the fact that you got together and talked about it. That's a small win. You know, Celebrate just the fact that you all both are on the same page as it relates to your child and one of the best interests of your child. Yeah, Treve said definitely document everything for everyone's protection and clarity. That's right. That's right. You got to. You got to. Um, but recognizing progress, it really reinforces the co-parenting partnership, and it encourages future cooperation. So, and just remember, I told you before, it's the consistent things that you do, the things that you do regularly. This isn't something that it's not gonna be a one and done. This is a lifestyle. This is a new normal of things that we're gonna cultivate, with the co-parent. So I really hope you all got something out of those 6 things, those 6 techniques as it relates to conflict resolution. Choosing the right place, right time and place, focusing on the child's best interest, avoiding blame and accusation, focus on long-term co-parenting goals, put agreements in writing, and acknowledging the small wins. So I definitely hope you all got something out of it. If you did, put me some more butterflies in the chat if you got something, and feel free to share what you got out of it as well. What was your takeaway? You had any aha moments or anything from today? I would love to read those because I read all of the comments. So, well, thank you all again for joining. Thank you for the butterflies. We will be back here tomorrow. I will be back here tomorrow. Hopefully my plane won't be delayed, but I plan on being live at 5 tomorrow, Central Standard Time. If you don't follow me already, follow me on Instagram at I am Tiffany D. Newton. You can follow me on Facebook at Tiffany D. Newton and join our tribe. We have Treve and Eric, they're on here. They do monthly segments that are just outstanding that you definitely got to check those out. But join the tribe, check it out on Facebook, see what it's all about. And you can follow us on YouTube at Teach Me Tribe as well. And you can also see the shows there. I'm in the process of making sure all the our shows and episodes are uploaded there, so they'll all be in one place, and you can enjoy them anytime you want because it is definitely a wealth of knowledge. It's life-changing information. So, but until then, I will talk to you all tomorrow. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.